The China State Leighton joint venture team developed a number of innovative solutions for the erection of this complicated steel structure. The main working area, a temporary platform, had two sliding rails along the north and south sides of the site. The plan was to erect mega-column sections in pairs of pre-fabricated box sections with the stubs for the primary floor trusses attached. Two shore-based mobile cranes and one additional crane on a barge within the site were to be used to assemble and erect the steel mega-column sections. All of the column sections could be erected by the crane from within the site. The steel erection commenced when the pile caps for the mega columns were completed. 4 300-ton strand jacks were to be installed on crosshead beams at the top of each mega column. The Type 4 roof trusses end sections were installed with a lifting beam at the base of the south columns. And the Type 1 truss end sections were installed with a lifting beam at the base of the north columns. The large roof truss sections, prefabricated in China, would be delivered to Hong Kong by large barges. The plan was to use a marine crane to lift each 900-ton truss section onto the working platform area. These heavy lifts would take place between midnight and 6 a.m. Expo Drive East would be closed for each heavy lift, while Convention Avenue could remain open to traffic at all times. Each truss section was to be supported by the Heavy-Tech air-pad system. The jacks can raise or lower the steel, and using air pressure to lift the steelwork, the air-pad system can be used to push the steel laterally along the sliding rails. The air-pad system provides a powerful levelling bed for positioning and connecting the roof trusses. Each truss can be accurately and safely assembled. When the truss sections are level and square, they can slide together on the air pads so that the central plates of the trusses can be bolted and then welded together on site. The external splice plates would then be connected with full penetration butt welds. The secondary roof trusses and tertiary roof beams could then be installed between the primary trusses by the land-based cranes. The air pad system could then elevate the steel assembly on a cushion of pressurized air. The floating structure could then be pushed 27 meters along the sliding rails by the push-pull jacks. The remaining roof trusses and other secondary steelwork would be erected in the same way until all of the roof sections were assembled. The complete structure could be pushed to the final lifting position on the air pad system by the push-pull jacks. The end sections along the north and south sides could then be connected to the main roof trusses. The longer span east elevation truss would then be delivered onto the working platform in 4 separate sections by the marine crane. After splicing the trusses together, they could then be lifted into their final position using the strand jacks. The intermediate posts and diagonals could then be installed to complete the long span east truss. To install the final cantilever roof sections above Convention Avenue in a safe manner, the roof steel was to be raised approximately 10 meters above the road. The final truss segments could then be installed by a mobile crane during a nighttime road closure for each of the 4 truss sections. The roof steelwork would then be lifted to the final level using the strand jacks and safely and finally secured on permanent structural beams. The levelling beds, air pad system and push-pull jacks could then be used to assemble each of the long span exhibition structural floors. For each 27-metre bay of the floor, it would be completed with bond deck, shear studs and reinforcement, all being installed at the lower, safer working levels. Mobile cranes could then be placed on areas of concrete floor deck, and they would be used to install steelwork for intermediate floors. The primary floor trusses would then be raised on 4 hoisting points by strand jacks installed in the primary roof trusses. The steel truss connections were detailed to provide maximum clearance during the lifting operations. The structural floor trusses needed to be connected to the megacolumns before the composite concrete slab could be cast. As each floor was completed and lifted into position, the next floor could be assembled on the airpad system and levelling platform. Floor framing above Convention Avenue could then be constructed by mobile cranes from level 7 in a traditional bottom-up erection sequence using the crash deck over the road for safety. On the successful completion of the erection of the primary steel structure, the construction methods would then revert to traditional commercial building type works.